From matters of justice to foreign policy and the welfare of overseas Filipino workers, to addressing transportation woes and maintaining peace and security. We take a look back at some of the plans of President Bongbong Marcos' cabinet officials in this special edition of The Source Rewind 2022. A seasoned career diplomat takes the helm of the Department of Foreign Affairs under President Bongbong Marcos. Among the challenges he faces, maintaining relations between two global superpowers that don't usually see eye to eye, the United States and China, and the continuing dispute over the West Philippine Sea.
The President's priorities, as stated in his State of the Nation, were on agriculture, infrastructure, energy, and of course pandemic response. And this exactly is also on the same page with China, which wishes to increase cooperation on agriculture, trade, infrastructure, energy, and pandemic response, so as people to people. So both leaders had a good exchange on how we could increase our economic cooperation. They also referred to the South China Sea issue. And while they said it remains an issue, they said it would not define the total relationship between the Philippines and China, and that we need to see how we can manage our differences. I think also what was interesting is the two leaders had a broad exchange on regional issues as well as global issues. On a strategic level, there was really a desire to see how we can improve and enhance our relationship. And I think the details, any specific agreements, and there are a number being considered, could hopefully be finalized during the expected state visit.
Secretary, let's also talk about the brief, it was a brief meeting, right, between the President and U.S. President Joe Biden.
I thought it was fairly substantive, given the time limits. And both leaders expressed their commitment to enhancing the Philippine-U.S. relationship in all of its aspects. That's economic, security, defense. And also they discussed similarly economic issues. Again, priority issues to the Philippines, such as agriculture, food security, climate change, clean energy, and promoting public-private partnerships. So I think it was also a fairly broad exchange. Also. And it was clear the Philippines and the U.S. are really committed to enhancing our relationship.
The government also intensifies its campaign against human trafficking and online illegal recruitment. Senators previously uncovered a scheme recruiting Filipinos for a different job, but later on are forced to work as scammers in different Southeast Asian countries. Taking the lead in the newly created Department of Migrant Workers is a longtime OFW advocate, Susan Toots Ople.
I think what we need right now is to appeal din sa mga families who think their children are being recruited or are there. If they can come to us, either the DFA or sa amin, so appropriate actions can be taken by our government. We have a hotline, 1348, and they can also email repat@dmw.gov.ph. I think it's the dark side of the web. Yan yung it's starting to reveal itself through the recruitment of our workers. Ang masakit dito yung ginagamit sila para manloko ng ibang tao dahil dahil sa ugali natin na mabait, mahusay makipag-converse online, and mahusay mag-English. So our best attributes are being used against us.
Yeah.
We are trying our best, but it's usually after the fact na the decision point is reached by the applicant. And yun ang totoo. Pag nandoon ka sa online, ang kausap mo, recruiter, kayong dalawa lang yon, nasa loob ka ng bahay mo. Hindi katulad nung traditional na illegal recruitment, pwedeng nasa coffee house, pwedeng nasa mall.
Opo.
Madaling matiktikan eh.
Oo.
Ito, ikaw lang at yung recruiter. Kaya kami, nagmamakaawa din kami, nakikiusap kami sa ating mga kababayan. Kahit may katiting kayo na duda, wag na kayong tumuloy. Kasi you also have a personal responsibility sa sarili nyo at saka sa pamilya nyo to get out of harm's way.
We will be taking a short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines Rewind 2022. Stay tuned. Implementing an efficient database for the criminal justice system, decongesting jails, and initiating reforms in the Bureau of Immigration were just some of the top priorities earmarked by former lawmaker and now Justice Secretary Jesus Crispin Boying Remulla. In one of his first sit-down interviews since being named Justice Chief, Remulla itemized in The Source the priorities in his department.
We implement the National Criminal Justice Information System. Iyan kasi, lahat ng cases sa courts, criminal cases sa courts, lahat ng cases sa NBI, lahat ng cases sa immigration, lahat ng mga problema na may criminal element involved will become integrated into a database na available sa lahat. Right now, yung mga job seekers, kailangan ko, pipila ka sa NBI para sa clearance. Pipila ka sa munisipyo, police clearance. Pipila ka sa court clearance. Pwede na ma-integrate yan eh. Diba? And it makes it easier for the country. Like with the technology now, with facial recognition, it would be so much easier. Hanggang BID, wala makakalabas ng bansa pagkakompleto ang ating database. Pero there was resistance. And you know why? There are fees charged by the agencies for this. Isang problema rin kasi, kasi justice delayed is justice denied, reklamo sa Department of Justice, yung data tracking system, para lahat ng sulat na papasok sa departamento ay talagang nakasaad. We will put there what time it was received, where it was referred to, what office it was referred to, at what day, so that by the time somebody follows up, if it has sat there for a certain amount of time, alam mo, inuupuan, may problema tayo. Audit ng ating lahat ng detention prisoners, lahat na nakakulong. Sana naman meron silang identity na malinaw sa lahat ng mga kulungan para alam natin kung ano ang krimen, ano ang sentensya, kung napakatagal lang sila nakakulong, hindi pa lumalabas. Hindi bago to. This has been done before, but we have to do it again, over and over again, because
Well, that's definitely one way to decongest the jails that are very, very crowded and inhumane conditions over there, sir.
Tsaka yung Board of Pardons and Parole, para mas mabilis ang proseso. Kasi power of the President yan to pardon. Kung pwede na talagang patawarin na, nagbayad na ng kanyang pagkakautang sa lipunan, pakawalan na at hayaan natin mabuhay na muli na maayos. Problema dyan, minsan sa prosecution service, tsaka sa courts, postponements. Some lawyers have a habit of postponing cases very regularly. Some judges take their time on things, sit in things. Parang minsan very insensitive na. Kaya dapat pati yung database niyang kompleto so that the Supreme Court and the Department of Justice has to work closely on this para talagang in sync ang trabaho ng dalawa.
Former Justice Secretary Menardo Guevara assumes the position of Solicitor General under the Marcos administration. Among the issues facing Guevara is the country's response to the International Criminal Court, or ICC, over the war on drugs of the previous Duterte administration.
Jurisdiction, because that's the fundamental issue here, Pinky. Ang ICC kasi ay may jurisdiction over certain crimes only. Ano yung mga crimes na yan? Genocide, crime of aggression, crime against humanity, and war crimes. So, ganon katitindi na mga kaso ang pwedeng maging under the jurisdiction of the ICC. Yung talagang
Itugon sa ICC,
international concern talaga, ha? Genocide, wala namang nangyayaring ganyan sa Pilipinas. War crimes, definitely not applicable. Crime of aggression, certainly out of the question. So yung crime against humanity ang naging subject matter of the complaints against the Philippine government. So what we're saying is hindi rin applicable yung crime against humanity na maging kumbaga parang hindi rin papasok doon yung situation in the Philippines. Kasi merong ibig sabihin ang crime against humanity. Ano ba yung mga offenses na yan, no, na magfo-fall doon? For example, murder, enslavement, extermination, persecution on account of political, racial, ethnic, religious, cultural, gender, and other factors, no? So, hindi naman doon nagfo-fall yung nangyayari dito sa Pilipinas in connection with our campaign against illegal drugs.
But you said
no?
murder, sir.
We're saying naman, Pinky, na doon sa libo-libong situation na merong namatay, no? Ay meron din talagang admittedly mga certain cases na talagang maipapakita natin na mayroong unlawful act committed. Yun nga yung ginagawa natin eh. Yun nga yung iniimbestigahan natin. Hindi naman ibig sabihin na kung merong 6,000 persons na namatay, lahat ng 6,000 cases na yan ay illegal or unlawful. In-isolate na natin kung alin yung wala namang problema, maayos naman ang operation, at tinanggal natin, in-identify natin kung alin yung a few instances na talagang merong abuse on the part of law enforcement. Yun yung iniimbestigahan natin. Pero hindi ibig sabihin na almost 6,000 persons ang namatay. Lahat ng yun ay the result of illegal activities ng mga law enforcement.
We will be taking a short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines Rewind 2022. Please stay tuned. The Interior and Local Government Department vows to continue the government's war on drugs but assures the public of a different approach under President Marcos. DILG Chief Benhur Abalos lays down some of the department's plans to recalibrate the anti-drug campaign.
On the war on drugs, number one, I was asked kung how we are going to approach it. Yung intensity pareho ng dati. We will make sure, we will make arrests, etc., on the basis of our oath in accordance with the Constitution. So, number one is the quality of cases, Pinky. That's very, very important. Day one pa lang, yun ang sinabi ko sa krame. I'm a lawyer by profession. It's not the quantity. That's why after 3 weeks, nag-agreement kami ng Department of Justice, i-mentor namin yung mga investigators dahil sila yung may susi rito eh. No, hindi naman sila lawyers but we have to mentor them. We have to assess. So, ina-assist po yan. Number two, look at the legal side, the technicalities. One is Section 21 of the Dangerous Drug Act. What does it state? It states that, number one, kung nakahuli ng shabu, you need at least 2 witnesses of 3. Barangay captain or barangay official, or you need someone from the media, or you need someone from the DOJ. But most of the time, Pinky, isa lang ang testigo.
Yeah.
Someone from the barangay. 80% dismissed. Now, we did something in Mandaluyong that's different. What we did is, we hired one employee, o yung empleyadong nandiyan lang siya, kinuha namin, we assigned them to the Department of Justice, sa Fiscal's Office. Ang gagawin lang niya, testigo lang siya.
But dahil sasama siya ng sasama?
Yes.
Okay.
Testigo siya, siguro for about a year, and then iba naman. So with that single act, wala na kami nadidismisan na kaso on technicality.
Because nasunod niyo po yung conditions.
Yung condition. So
okay.
yun ang sinasabi ko sa mga mayors, sa governors, we do not have to wait for the amendment of the law. Because if we're going to wait on that from Congress, ang tagal pa niyan. No? Importante mawala ang ating technicality rito. War on drugs. It's just like a tree. Maski yung sanga, putuli mo may tutubo eh. So, yung sanga, kung gusto mo putulin yung puno, tanggalin mo yung ugat. That tree symbolizes the war on drugs. The branches, yung huli ka ng huli. Huli talaga kami ng huli dito. I will help the police. In fact, I'm going to have a fund to help them. Kasi dinidemanda yan eh. Noong mga salbahe babalik, mayayaman. It's really, we will be having a board that will really study kung talagang tama ba siyang tulungan o hindi. No? Ngayon, yung ugat nito, simple. It's now the community, the church, everyone. No? Kailangan kasama lahat dito. So, yun. It's not only against the seller, but the buyer reduction.
From being the third most stressful airport in Asia to having one of the worst public transportation systems in the world, how is the Transportation Department addressing all commuters' woes and the need for more efficient transportation? Here's our interview with Transportation Chief Jaime Bautista.
Regarding this report that Manila International Airport is the third most stressful airport in Asia and Oceania, we take this as a challenge. No? We welcome comments, suggestions, recommendations, and even criticisms. No? Because this is the way for us to be able to know what the passengers are feeling, what they need, so that we can address this more. No? I understand that this report was based on data collected in May and July. No? But since we have taken over the management and operations of the airport, we have introduced some reforms for the passengers to be able to enjoy their travel experience in Manila International Airport. No? The General Manager of Manila International Airport, Mr. Cesar Chong, who has 35 years of experience in airline and aviation and airport, has implemented some reforms so that we can make the travel experience of our passengers better. No? Also, for this coming Christmas, we have reorganized and scheduled some changes in terminal assignments, Pinky. For example, in Terminal 4, where AirAsia and Cebu Pacific operates their small airplanes, we are transferring some of the flights to Terminal 3. No? Because, Terminal 4, there are only like a little over 500 seats. No? And when there is a delay of 2 or 3 flights, there's really congestions. There are some areas that we can improve. No? One is the EDSA busway. No? This libreng sakay, we can improve this by adding more bus stops. No? For example, in the last 2 months, we were able to add 3 new bus stops for the EDSA busway. There's one in Taft Avenue. There's one along Rojas Boulevard. And the latest is our arrangement with the Ayala Corporation.
This has been a special edition of The Source Rewind 2022. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.